It was an unassuming night in Atlanta. The cool November air settled over the quiet suburban neighborhood, where life seemed as normal as it could be. But shortly after 9 p.m., the stillness of the night was shattered by the terrifying sound of gunfire and screams, leaving the residents in a state of shock. The Burns family home, where just hours before everything seemed fine, became the center of a tragedy that no one could have foreseen. The call to emergency services came from a neighbor who had heard the chaos unfolding. Sirens blared, and within minutes, police cars filled the street outside the two-story home. Neighbors huddled together, speaking in hushed voices as they watched the flashing lights cut through the darkness. The responding officers, unsure of what they would find, approached the house with caution. When they entered, the scene was more horrific than they could have imagined. There, in the living room, lay the bodies of Ronell and Kiana Burns. The couple, once so full of life, now cold and still, victims of a tragedy that no one could understand at first. The initial shock left everyone asking the same question: how could this have happened? If stories like this captivate you, where the truth hides in plain sight and tragedy strikes unexpectedly, make sure to subscribe to our true crime series. We dive deep into the stories that leave lasting scars, uncovering the hidden realities behind the most shocking cases. Before her name became linked to tragedy, Kiana Burns was a woman admired for her strength, success, and determination. Born on September 15, 1977, in St. Louis, Missouri, Kiana had always been a fighter. From a young age, she knew what it meant to work hard and overcome obstacles. After graduating from Riverview Garden High School, she attended St. Louis Community College, where she majored in cosmetology. With a passion for beauty and business, she set out to build a career that would provide not only for herself but also for her children. Kiana was a single mother to 3 children from previous relationships, but she never let that slow her down. She poured her energy into her business, and it paid off. Over the course of 2 decades, Kiana's salon became one of the largest and most popular beauty salons in the St. Louis area. She had achieved what many only dream of: professional success and financial independence. But while Kiana was thriving in her career, her personal life was a different story. Behind her strong and confident exterior, there was a woman who had faced heartbreak and struggles, especially when it came to finding a lasting relationship. Her ambition and drive sometimes made it difficult to find a partner who could match her energy. That was until she met Ronell Burns. Ronell Burns entered Kiana's life at a time when she was at the height of her career. Born on May 14, 1975, in St. Louis, Ronell shared many of Kiana's ambitions. He was driven, charismatic, and deeply involved in his faith. A former basketball player, Ronell was determined to make his mark not just in business but as a leader in the community. He devoted his life to God at a young age, often speaking of how he felt called to help others through ministry and financial coaching. When Ronell met Kiana, he had 2 children from a previous relationship, just as she did. The two quickly realized that they shared similar values and dreams, and soon their relationship blossomed. It wasn't long before they decided to get married. On September 13, 2012, they exchanged vows in a grand ceremony surrounded by family and friends. To the outside world, it seemed like a perfect union, a strong, successful couple building a life together. Kiana and Ronell merged their lives, their families, and their ambitions. They began presenting themselves as a power couple, offering inspiration and guidance to others through social media, business coaching, and ministry. Their followers admired them, seeing them as living proof that hard work, faith, and dedication could lead to a life of success and abundance. Ronell and Kiana Burns built an empire based on their public image. They were not only husband and wife but business partners, co-creating a narrative that attracted thousands of followers. Ronell's charismatic preaching and financial coaching, combined with Kiana's beauty empire, made them an attractive duo. They shared their lives online, often posting glamorous photos of their family, luxury cars, and high-end shopping trips. On Instagram, Kiana frequently posted about their life, from lavish dinners to the gifts Ronell showered her with, including a premium Maserati Levante. She spoke of how blessed she was to have such a supportive husband and how their hard work had allowed them to live a life of luxury. Her Instagram feed was filled with images of their picture-perfect life, designer clothes, expensive bags, and loving family moments. Their followers were captivated by their success. Thousands tuned in to watch Ronald's motivational videos, where he spoke about financial independence, entrepreneurship, and faith. He had built a following through his coaching program, Six-Figure Ambition, which promised to help others achieve the same level of success. For a while, it seemed like the Burns family had it all. But behind the smiles and the luxury, things were not as perfect as they seemed. While Kiana had worked tirelessly to build her salon business, it was clear that the majority of the family's wealth came from her efforts, not from Ronald's ventures. Despite his online persona as a successful coach and entrepreneur, Ronald's businesses were not as profitable as he led others to believe. As time went on, their financial situation became strained. The pressure to maintain their lavish lifestyle was immense, and Ronald's relentless drive to expand only made things worse. He pushed Kiana to move from her beloved St. Louis to Atlanta in search of greater business opportunities. The move, while promising on the surface, brought with it new challenges. Kiana, who had built her life and business in St. Louis, now found herself in an unfamiliar city, struggling to adjust to a new environment. Despite their public image of unity, the cracks in their marriage were beginning to show. Kiana's mental health began to suffer under the weight of it all. She felt isolated and overwhelmed, trying to keep up with the demands of running her business, supporting her family, and maintaining the image of success that Ronald had crafted for them. As the financial strain deepened, so did the emotional distance between Kiana and Ronald. Their once happy marriage was now on the brink of collapse. Behind closed doors, their arguments grew more intense, and their relationship became more strained. Kiana had confided in close friends that she was unhappy, and that the move to Atlanta had left her feeling disconnected and lonely. In the months leading up to the tragedy, Kiana began to open up to her followers about her struggles. In a live video, she asked her audience to pray for her, revealing that life had become increasingly difficult. She spoke of how challenging it was to adjust to the changes in her life, and how, at times, she felt overwhelmed. Though she didn't go into detail, her followers could sense that something was wrong. Ronald, too, tried to keep up appearances, but it was clear that their marriage was unraveling. In fact, they had already made the decision to divorce. The move to Atlanta, intended to grow their business, had only added more pressure to an already strained relationship. On social media, they continued to post as if everything was fine, but behind the scenes, their lives were falling apart. On the night of November 6, 2021, Kiana and Ronald had one final, heated argument. The details of the conversation will never be fully known, but what is clear is that something inside Kiana snapped. In a moment of desperation, she grabbed a gun and shot Ronald. Moments later, she turned the weapon on herself, ending her own life. When the police arrived, the scene was grim. Kiana and Ronald, once the power couple admired by thousands, were now gone. The news of their deaths sent shockwaves through their community and the online world they had built. People were stunned. How could this couple, who seemed to have it all, end up in such a tragic situation? As news of the tragedy spread, more details about the Burns family's financial struggles and personal turmoil began to surface. Their followers, who had once admired their success, were left grappling with the truth that the image they had seen online was nothing more than a carefully constructed facade. The Burns family had been living in financial ruin, and their marriage had been deteriorating for months. The 8 children that Kiana and Ronald left behind now faced an uncertain future. Friends and family were devastated by the loss, but many admitted that they had no idea how much the couple had been struggling. The reality of the Burns lives was far different from the glamorous picture they had painted for the world. The story of Kiana and Ronald Burns is a cautionary tale about the dangers of living a life based on appearances. In their pursuit of success and wealth, they had sacrificed their happiness, their marriage, and ultimately their lives. The pressure to maintain their public image, combined with the strain of financial ruin, proved too much for them to bear. A reminder of the importance of mental health. She was a woman who had achieved so much, but in the end, the weight of her responsibilities and the pressure to uphold a facade of perfection became unbearable. Her final cry for help, though heard by her followers, came too late. If you want to uncover more stories like this, where the truth is hidden behind layers of deception, make sure to subscribe to our True Crime series. We'll continue to explore the dark, often tragic realities behind the lives that seem perfect from the outside.